I'm Joe Cross. Take a good, hard look at my gut. Years ago, I was overweight, over-medicated, and out of luck. Until I finally said, enough is enough. So I decided to go on a road trip and drink juice and nothing else for 60 days. I shared my story about the incredible benefits of juicing. What do you think?
That's okay.
It's not bad, is it?
No.
And made a movie that has changed people's lives. What if I told you that I've only been juicing for 39 days?
Actually, you're crazy as hell.
I reckon that you can get your body back into shape so that you can cure yourself. The real surprise of the movie, hey mate, my name's Joe, is Phil.
You're at risk of sudden death because of your weight.
This is life or death for you right now. Now this stuff will save your life. His story has inspired millions.
Seen the documentary, I'm a Believer.
I had such a poor diet and I had such poor health.
I'm not gonna get emotional.
I have hope again. It's invigorating.
Been on it 5 days and I've already lost 15 pounds.
Down 30 pounds.
A 60-pound weight loss.
Down 91 pounds. I'm under 300.
He really inspired me to throw that prescription bottle away.
Eventually, we'll have you off of all of them.
I mean, it's nothing short of a miracle.
I knew I had to do something. I was 310 pounds. I had really bad arthritis, sleep apnea. All that is gone. I watched the movie, I bought a juicer. I feel 1,000 times better. I have energy all day long. I feel like Superman.
Joe has had a profound effect on my life. I've lost 99.2 pounds. I could not walk without pain. Now I can run an hour nonstop from juicing. And I know that this is a part of my life forever now.
This was me 4 months ago. Everywhere I go, I had to sit down. I was tired from everything I did. One day I watched Joe's movie and I said, okay, he can do what I can do.
Because of these success stories, a movement has begun. Join us and experience it for yourself.
This is something you can do on your own. Go down your local market, get some fruit and vegetables, give it a go. You got nothing to lose.
Just try it for 2 weeks, a week, and you'll see the amazing changes that it can do for your body.
Fat, sick, and nearly dead.
I'm so grateful, like I could cry. That's how grateful I am and how good I feel.
Watch the movie at fatsickandnearlydead.com.
G'day. Well, the good news is I don't need to talk too much because most of you are here for our previous chat, so I want to say thank you to you for giving up your valuable time. I mean, time today, it's really, really valuable, and you're all here this afternoon at the conference, the Health Interactive Santa Monica, and that shows a great thing, in my opinion, that we've got a group of people like this that are here to talk about how we can get our lives back on track, and as I said earlier, become the CEO of our own health. So for me, my journey started when I hit 40 years of age, and I get asked this question a lot, what was it? Well, I knew I was fat, and I knew I was sick. I've been taking pills since I was 32 when I first got sick, not too far from here, actually. And it was like, I was procrastinating. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pay money to other people and they'll fix me. And I kept sort of saying, I'll get to this, I'll get to this. But you know what? It just kept slipping. There was something else that was more important. And I think that the day I turned 40, there was something about having a 4 in front of my birthday age as opposed to a 3. Like a 3's closer to a 2, but a 4's closer to a 5. And it was like, oh my God, I'm 40. And look at the mirror, and I'm like 320 pounds, and I'm getting sick and tired of people asking me when the twins are going to be due. And I was just like, this is not good. I'm on pills every morning and every night, and the doctors are giving me more of them. And I'm thinking, hold on a second. I mean, I thought I was a smart guy, but I'm actually pretty dumb. I'm really, really dumb. I only get one crack at this life. I only get one body. So this whole, like, as Oprah would say, this boom, this light goes on. It was my aha moment. So at that moment, I was ready to listen. And the most valuable thing I heard was a doctor told me, he said, Joe, do you know that 70% of all disease is caused by lifestyle choices? What we eat, what we drink, whether we smoke or not, how much exercise we do or don't do, what's our sleep like, how much rest we get, how's our emotions, anger, what's our intimacy like with our loved ones. These lifestyle choices are resulting in 70% of all disease. And that, to me, was like mind-blowing. I mean, you just look at this country, for example, 18% of your GDP, $2.7 trillion is spent on medicine and medical care. And 70% of that We're doing it to ourselves. And I don't hear that debate or that discussion going on the media. Do anyone hear that conversation? Oh, no. No, we don't have that. So me being a business guy and a maths guy, I immediately said, well, if that means 70% is because we're doing it to ourselves, that actually means that 30% is just the unlucky camp. You know, what your genes, what your mum and dad and their mum and dad and so on swapped to create the magnificent you. Or you might have been in an accident, or you might have been stung by something, or you picked up an infection in a hospital or somewhere. Unlucky, just unlucky. That's 30%. So now I'm standing there, I'm in front of the mirror, and I look at myself, and I'm aware of this, and so I had a choice. I wanted to find out, with my disease, was I in what I call the idiot, insane, stupid, moronic camp, where I was doing it to myself? Or was I just unlucky and I was over here in the 30% camp? And that was the most important question I asked, because what I then had to do was find out a way that I could work out which one I was in. So I went back, as the lady said earlier, about, well, we're the most successful species on the planet. Who do we share it with? We share it with some animals, we share it with insects, we share it with microbes, we share it with plants. And we are number one, we're top of the heap. We are the most successful. So what have we done in our life to become so successful? What have we done? What have we done? We've consumed energy. We've breathed in air. We've put water into our bodies, and we've eaten food. As I said earlier, air and water, well, you can't do much about that. But food, boy, oh boy, you can do a lot about that. And why do we see in colour? I started asking these questions. Why is our hands like this? You see, any animal that eats just one thing sees in black and white. But if you eat multiple things, you see in colour. So 1/3 of your brain is devoted to colour. 1/3 to colour, or to eyesight and colour. So if you think about that, I was like, wow, that means those beautiful colours of the fruit and veg rainbow, the greens, the reds, the purples, the yellows, the oranges, they pop out so that we can survive, so that we can see them. And look at this hand. Isn't it perfectly designed to pick, forage, grab, dig? And I'll guarantee every single person, hold your hand out and go like that, and this finger will go exactly to your mouth. Your body evolved so that when you pick something, it goes straight there. Imagine if your hand only went to here. You'd have to, how do I eat? We wouldn't have survived that long, would we? Okay? So everything about us, everything about you right now, and you should give yourself a huge pat on the back, because you are surviving. You are living. You are converting energy at a cellular level into 3 trillion cells that make up the magnificent you. Now, what was I doing? I was actually not spending much time, as like you heard me say earlier, in this essential part of town. I was like not putting in the fruits, the vegetables, the nuts, the beans, the seeds, the whole grains. I was spending a lot of time down in what I call the fun part of town, the processed world and the animal product. Now, we're all logical people. What happens when you spend too much time in the fun part of town? It ain't fun anymore. Bottom line. You think about anything you love doing. If you do it over and over and over and over again, I guarantee you won't love it. Guarantee it. So I was spending all my time down here, all the processed food, the burgers, the fries, the Cokes, the shakes, you name it, I was down there. I was having that. And so what I decided to do was that I needed to find out which camp am I in. So I'm going to do 2 years of only having food from the essential part of town. And if I have it for 2 years, and if at the end of 2 years I'm still sick, I'm still taking pills, then I will assume that I'm in the unlucky camp, and that was my mum and dad I'll go hunting, because it was their fault. It wasn't anything to do with me. Does that make sense? 20 years I hammered myself from the age of 20 to 40. So I figured 10% of that time I've done the crime, now I've got to do the time. That was like a 2-year penalty. That was how I was thinking. And then I thought to myself, all right, for the first part of this journey, why am I fat? Why am I fat? That was a big question, because if I ask you, why do you get fat? Okay, why does a human get fat? You know what you're going to tell me? You're going to say, well, Joe, if you sit in front of the TV, put your feet up, you eat pizza, you drink soda, you'll get fat. I know that, but that's not really what I was asking. I'm asking, why does a human being, why do you have this capacity to get fat? Crocodiles, snakes, they can't get fat. Not possible. Anything that is cold-blooded cannot get fat. Warm-blooded species can get fat. Why? Simple reason. It's two of them. To regulate our body temperature and to store up energy for lean times. Store up energy for lean times. So here was I'm carrying around like this 100 pounds. And what am I waiting for? I'm waiting for a famine to come. That's something that used to happen to my ancestors. I'm waiting for there to be absolutely no food. Well, I got news for you. Is there a famine coming to LA? Is there one coming to New York or Austin or LA or London or Japan? No. We are experts now at creating a feast on every single corner. You go to get energy for your car, there's energy for you. Everywhere you go, there is energy. And guess what they do to it? They make it look like fruit and veggies. They put this colour on it. They put this purple, this red, this green, this yellow, this orange. They make it so that we're back on the savannah. Wow, look at that. That's cherry ripe. Awesome. So I decided at this moment, I said, all right, well, I've got to go back. I've got to go back in time and I've got to create my own nutritional famine. So if I look at this water, what's a fast? A fast is just when you drink that. This is absolutely essential to your life. Does anyone know why you get thirsty? Simple answer, because if you didn't, you would die. If you were born without this power of thirst, this sensation of getting thirsty, you'd forget to drink, and after 5 or 10 days, you die, depending on the conditions. That's how important this is. It's how important. It's critical. Absolutely critical. So I started looking at this stuff in a different light. Look at this water. And I'm thinking about, this is so important, water, right? So I started to think about, well, I've got to do a famine, but I've got to eat the plants. What am I going to do? So I thought about supercharging my 2 years in jail with kind of like going into solitary confinement of 60 days of juicing. That's how the whole idea came. The movie idea came later. Once I'd worked all this logic out, that's when I thought, let's do, roll the cameras and get lights, camera, action. Because if this works, this could be helpful. That was kind of this pre-concept. So I've got on the stage, I've got a juicer up here that I'm going to spin this around. This is a juicer. It's very similar to the one, a Breville juice that I used in the movie. Now, does anyone know what this is? Cucumber, right? I used to look at this and go, what am I going to eat that for? Terrible. I look at this very differently now. I look at this as this is harnessed sunlight. This is magic. This is unbelievable. This is incredible. This is Mother Nature at her best. What's happened here is a little seed has been in the soil, and this rain has come down, and this sunlight's poured on, and this thing has grown, and it's taken from the nutrients from the soil. It's taken the nitrogen and the oxygen and the hydrogen and the helium from the atmosphere, and that sun, through photosynthesis, has caused this magnificence. And if we were able to go in there with a small microscope and go right inside and have a look, you know what we'd see? We'd see these beautiful big balloons full of water in this structure of what's a cellulus, which is the cucumber. Now, for the first time with technology, with the juicer, I'm able to release the sunlight. I can take the sunlight out of here, I can take the water, and I can just simply put it through my juicer. And what I'm effectively doing now is I'm taking this cucumber, which is about 95% water. We all know that. Celery the same. 95% water. And what I've done now is I've extracted out over here. There is my pure cucumber juice. Look at that. And if I come over here and just grab into the other cup very quickly. There we go. If you get the camera down on that, you can see what I've been able to do is, through the power of this machine, is separate the structure, which is about 5%, with 95% of the volume, and this is simply water. That is water that is filtered through Mother Nature. It's filtered through a plant. So, have a look at this. We're going to come up a little bit higher. I'm going to pour this in here. Look at that. Look at the content. This is not blending. This is juicing. We're extracting out the water from the plant. That has a very similar fluidity to this. We've all seen water move. It's the same. If I was to take this cucumber, this celery, this kale, if I was to take all of this and blend it up with the structure that's in there, I'm creating a smoothie, aren't I? I'm making a blended drink. When I take a blended drink, if I was to have one here and I'm pouring it, it wouldn't go at the same way, would it? It'd be slow, it'd move. In fact, if I poured this on your forehead in the dark, you would not know the difference between this or water. You wouldn't know. But if I poured a smoothie on your forehead, you would know. Well, I want you to think about what's going on in your stomach, because there's no lights on in there. And when you drink this, your body doesn't know that it's not water. It thinks it's water. So what does it do? How do we absorb or metabolize water? Instantly, don't we? Anyone run here? Anyone a runner? When you go running, I guarantee you at mile 3, if I'm coming up on the bike saying, hey, do you want to have some of this? Do you want to chew some of this? Come on, eat some of this. Can you eat this while you're running? Any reason? Tell me why. Why can't you eat while you run? Because? Correct. All the blood that's required for digestion, you've only got a limited amount of blood, guys. Men know that. It gets moved around when needed. The blood for digestion is going straight into the legs and the calves and the back muscle to propel the running. Okay? So when you are walking fast and you try to eat, good luck with that digestion. When you're running, try to eat, your body won't let you. It's protecting you from choking to death. So this is critical. This is critical because you can drink water when you're running, can't you? Absolute no problem for digestion. So it's this stuff here that when I talk about in a reboot, and we need to understand this next part really carefully, this stuff's really good for you, but if you want to go back in time and create a famine, this is the stuff you can't have for a set period of time. And I want to talk about what happens during that time, all right? Because when you don't put food into your body, and what I mean by food, you don't put this fiber in, your body starts going, hang on, Joe, something's wrong. We need you to eat. We're going to make you grumpy. We're going to make you eat, mate. Come on. And it makes you irritable, makes you tired, makes you want to sit down, makes you like not be able to focus. Anyone who's tried to do a reboot knows what it's like the first couple of days. By day 2, it's like, we're really going to rev you up now. We're going to just make sure that you really feel the pain, Joe. Because inside, those 3 trillion cells are going, feed me, feed me, feed me. Why aren't you feeding me, Joe? Because if you die, we die. So this is a survival mechanism that kicks in, that makes you grumpy, makes you irritable, makes you tired, makes you not worry about anything else except getting food. We call it hunger. On day 3, everything's going up to a completely, whoa, we got to take this to another level because we need you to eat. Day 4, something happens. When you haven't eaten anything, when you haven't put any fiber in, your brain goes, whoa, we've been here before. We tried to make Joe eat. We tried to throw everything at him, but he couldn't and he didn't. So therefore, he's probably back on the savannah. He's probably back where there's no food. So it's not his fault. So if you're there and you're all about survival, what are you going to do? You're going to make that body, give it so much energy to go out and find food. You're going to turn off hunger. You're going to start using up the extra energy on your body, the fat and the muscle. You're going to start digesting that. For women, it's about 60% fat, 40% muscle. For men, it's about 70% fat, 30% muscle. You're going to self-digest in this period. And you're going to get better eyesight. You're going to get better hearing. You're going to get better smell. You're going to have way more energy. You're going to be able to focus because your body is wanting you to find food. Does that make sense? And so that's what happened to me on my journey. So it's very, very, very important to understand why a reboot works in terms of blending versus juicing, because I get asked that a lot. Next thing I want to talk about is this hunger of how it works and what I have discovered. And I'm not a scientist. I can only go by the 10 million people that have watched my movie and the hundreds and hundreds of thousands that have connected me and shared their story. I mean, there's people in the audience that I've seen, like Mike over here. How many pounds are you down, Mike? 120 pounds from seeing the movie, right? We have Steve and Maxine. You put your hands up. So Steve has been on this plan for about 3 weeks, is it, mate? And he's off his diabetes medication already. And his wife has halved it. So what we are seeing here is that they are taking this and they're going, okay, that mad Australian and that bloke, the truck driver, I mean, wow, maybe I could do something in my life that could make a difference to myself. And I'm sure there's many others in the audience I haven't had a chance to meet yet, that I've seen some faces over here that are down 20 pounds already, and this is exciting. What's happening is these cells are finally being fed. They're being fed the nutrients, the captured harness sunlight that is found in these plants. Let me tell you something. When you eat this, this goes out the back door. It's this which gets absorbed through the gut, into the stomach, into the bloodstream, and sent to the cells. This stuff. This is the critical stuff. So I want you to think about this. You've got this military inside you. You've got an Air Force, an Army, a Navy. You've got a Marine Corps. You've even got a SEAL Team 6. You have the incredible complex of military system inside. Now, what happens if you have the best in the world, but you don't give them the supplies to fight the war? What happens? I don't care how good they are. You don't give your soldiers, your military, you don't give them the supplies to actually fight the war. What's going to happen? They're going to give up ground. They're not going to just surrender on day one. They're not going to just like turn over and cark it. They're going to say, you know what? We've got limited supplies coming in. We're going to pull back in that area over there. And they're going to pull back in the weakest link in your genome. The weakest link that you have, that you were handed down. It might be multiple sclerosis. It might be diabetes. It might be some autoimmune disease. It might be lupus. It might be psoriasis. It might be migraines. Whatever it is, we're all different. But that's where the little SEAL Team 6 guys are going to go, you know what? If they're not giving me the supplies, I'm pulling out. Let's let that flourish. We're fighting heart disease and other stuff over here. Make sense? So what happens when you drink this stuff? Whether you juice only in a Reboot or whether you just add it to your diet, what happens is you are flooding your system with the supplies that your military needs to fight the war. That's how we've got to think. We have to think about getting the supplies in. Now, once the supplies are in and they're well armed, now we can hang out down in the fun part of town and have a burger, or have a piece of steak, or have some pasta if that's what you want to do. But when is the best time of the day, when you really think about it, to give those cells that nutrients? When is the best time of the day? The morning. You've had 10 or 12 hours break. We call it breakfast. We're breaking the fast. It's the best time of the day to flood your nutrients. I will challenge you. Try this. And I'm going to make a juice because I've only got a little bit of time left. I actually want some, what's your name? I want you up on the stage. Is that okay? And do you want to come up and help me? And any other little kids out there who want to come and help me? Come up, any of the kids who want to come and help. So, all right, have you done juicing before? You have? Good. I need helpers. All right, come over here. All right, we got any? That's it, just the three? All right, good. All right, so what I want you, I'm going to talk, and what I want you guys to do is put all this stuff through here. Can I just leave you to do that? Is that going to work? You all right? Okay, good. All right. So what I want you to think about is that if you're, I had a challenge for you. I want you to take a challenge. Get up in the morning and eat a whole box of Oreo cookies. Like, you know, the whole thing? Just eat a whole box for the first thing you do in the morning. See how your day goes. Versus waking up and having a full 24 ounces of this juice and see how your day goes. And it's a good test, all for science. And you will see how hungry you are an hour or so after you've had those Oreos versus this. All right? Okay, I'm going to get you guys going while I talk. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to be on plunger. All right, so you're going to be doing this. All right? You two are feeding in. All right? Hold on. I'm going to tell you what to put in. And do it. Don't do it all at once. Just do it in pieces, okay? So start with this one. All right, ready? We got it. So you push this in. All right? Okay, just that stuff there. We'll get the knife out of the road. We're going to do those apples. We're going to do this much ginger. And then we're going to put in that cucumber, all right? Good stuff. Just give it a couple of ups and downs, bumps. Perfect. All right? The kids can do that while I'm keeping talking. Any problems, give me a yell, all right? So with this, get it all in with your hand first. Okay? All right, perfect. See how good that is? So I want to tell a story about hunger and how it works. In the old days before the movie, when I got hungry, I was driving along the freeway and I'd get this message. It was like, I'm hungry. And I started to think about what's actually going on when I get hungry. What's actually happening there? You know what it is? It's 3 trillion cells picking up the phone, ringing room service, and they're going, hello, hello, we're hungry, please feed us. And that's what, this is an absolute fact. I'm writing a big feature and it's going to be all over the world. That's what the grumbling in your stomach is. It's the phone ringing from room service of your 3 trillion cells. Kidding, but that's what it is. So there's grumbling. Mission control goes, okay, Joe's hungry, all his cells are hungry. Let's send a message to the brain. The brain says, yeah, all in one, it's a good. How good are they? They're perfect. Right, so keep going. We've got all this to do. Christmas is coming soon. Right, so what happens now is that these cells have put an order in for nutrients. And so Joe gets this message, I'm hungry, I'm driving on the way, I see the golden arches, I pull in, I order my Big Mac, my quarter pound with cheese, my cheeseburger, my large fries, my chocolate shake, my chocolate sundae, and my Diet Coke, which is what I used to order when I was going to McDonald's. Now I put all that food in, I eat those 3 burgers, I eat all this. What's going to be happening in my stomach when all the little workers go out to get the room service and fulfill the order? They're going to be arguing over 3 pickles, because the pickles is where the phytonutrients are. There's nothing else left. So my cells are going to be hungry. My cells are going to be starving. So what that means then, how are we going, guys? Is that if you put in the right food, your cells will be satiated. Are we all done? Really? Okay. Oh, I know. No, we haven't done? We haven't put the lemon in. So let's take half a lemon. And we're going to put the whole skin in. Anyone want to know why we're putting the skin in? The skin is good for you. Yes, it's got the colour. So we like to try and extract out the colour. So why don't you pop that in? Now this one you've got to be careful of. As soon as it goes, you've got to get on it quick. All right, well done. Perfect. All right, give a round of applause to our... Don't go anywhere. With the cups? Are these... It's okay. Don't go anywhere. We have rules here at Reboot. And you know what the rules are? If you juice it, you drink it. All right? Okay, so let's... Oh, sorry, pick those up. Okay, so let's take a little bit there. And I want honest answers, guys, because you made this. Don't blame me if you don't like it. All right. So let's take that, and let's take that, and come out before we taste it, and you grab yours. Let's come out here a little bit. All right, now this is a good test here. We're going to see whether the kids like the juice. All right, so why don't you take a drink, don't say anything, and then we'll go down the line. We'll just watch the expression on the face. Okay, don't say anything. Let's keep going. Let's move down the line very quickly. All right, so now, here's the answer. You've got 3 ways. You can go thumbs up, sideways like it's average, or thumbs down as it's no good. Let's see what happens. From the top. Thumbs up. 1 out of 3 is good. Let's see what happens with number 2. Thumbs up. Got healthy kids on stage. Oh, 3 out of 3. And I'm excited because it's rare that I get that. So you guys must all. Have you drunk juice before? Green juice? And you like this? Okay, finish it all off then. All right, great. So why don't we give a round of applause for our helpers? Thank you, guys. It's very kind. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Now, why don't you guys just go and stand? I'm going to need you in a minute, okay? You go and stand over there for a second. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to very quickly, I'm a bit low on having places to put my juice. So I'm going to load this out because I want to just share something very quickly. I know a lot of you are juicers. So I want to show you something that I now am really excited about, because we're coming into winter. Has anyone ever juiced sweet potato? Anyone ever tasted that? Right, so I'm sure there's some people in the audience that haven't, and we'll have a bit of a taste test. We've got to just use the one. But I've got some sweet potatoes up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some sweet potatoes, and I'm going to put these beautiful organic carrots we got at the farmer's market here this morning, and we're going to put these through the juicer, and then we're going to put some apple through. And so this is a incredible juice that I'll just take 3 of our carrots. They're a bit small, so I'll go with 4. All right. So I'm going to put, basically I usually like to go with about that much carrot, and we'll put our sweet potatoes, and then I'm going to put a couple of apples in, and we'll just taste it, and we'll see how we go very quickly. Because a lot of people, you know, they just think it's all about the green juice. I want people to drink the green juice, but the green juice is like not for everybody. And remember, we want to make sure that we're pleasing a lot of people. We just don't want to like, oh, because Joe did that. So what I think is important is to get our greens, our purples, our reds, our yellows, and our oranges into our diet. We see in colour because of that, and therefore we want to make sure that we actually follow through. All right. So I'll just give this a bit of a clean. I'm going to get okay. So you get an incredible colour from this, and this is a terrific winter juice. Something that's great in the winter. Now, do you guys want to have a taste of this? All right. Oh, we've got a few cups. Perfect. We found them. All right, so I'm going to give you, now you've got no choice. So what do you think? Was that good? And I'm going to give this to Lisa, who we've got a little bit here for the audience. We'll pass that out. And some of the guys, we can give that. If you need any more cups, we've got some more cups there too. So you guys can have a taste of that. So what do you think? Is that okay? You like that? Good? You want to finish that off or you're done? Oh, she's gone. Oh, yeah, good. So we've got some time for some questions. We've got about 5 minutes for questions. So I want to say thank you to my assistants. Thank you, guys. Big round of applause for the helpers. Well done. Give me that back. Well done. Well done. Give me 5. See you later. Goodbye. Juice on. Okay, we've got any questions that people might have about the juicing or the movie. It's very exciting at Reboot. We're making a new movie right now, which is going to be out in May. We've got a new book coming out of the whole how-to, where a lot of what I've talked about earlier, you know, we only had a half an hour, which is a short amount of time. Normally, we like to spend a little bit longer and go into things. I try to go as quick as I could to cover as much of the information. But any questions, put your hand up. You don't need to come to the microphone. I can hear you if you've got any. Yeah.
Joe, one question. When it comes to juicing, I don't really know what to do with the leftover pulp. Carrots are quite easy, but then celery and cucumber, I don't know what to do with it. I don't want to waste it.
Sure. So just to understand, and I do this when we have a chance, it's a good question. What we've got here on the side here is, out of all the plants that we just extracted, if you took everything that was on my table, we actually managed to get 70% of the nutrients out of our plants into the juicer. Still, there's 30% of the, whatever you put through, roughly about 30% of the nutrient value is still over here in the pulp. And that's just because the machines aren't good enough to absolutely strip and extract this cellulose and take every last little nutrient out. Okay? So people go, oh, that's not good, Joe. I should stop juicing because I'm only getting 70%. No. Because if you have 5 sticks of celery, if you have 2 big cucumbers, if you have 4 apples, if you have 6 leaves of kale, if you have some ginger, and if you have half a lemon, I can drink all of that in like about 5 minutes. But I can't eat all of that at all. I couldn't eat all of that. I mean, I could if I had to, but there's no way I would eat all of that. So the idea of juicing is a great way to supercharge nutrients. So anyone who's not rebooting, just normal, and I'm going to get to answer your question, we want to start with juice in the day. I then love to make a smoothie where I take a mean green base, put it in with a blender, ice, I put bananas and berries in and blend that up, and that's awesome. Then I'll have some salad for lunch. So I've juiced, I've blended, and I've chewed. And I've lived in the essential part of town from like 8 o'clock last night when I had my meal, all the way through to say 8 o'clock or 7 p.m. the next day. I've been a good boy. I've been in the essential part of town. I've earned the right now to go and have some time in the fun part of town where I might have some fish. But I'll always put veggies with it because I just like it now. I just like the taste. So the question is, what do you do with this? There's lots and lots and lots of things you can do with it. In fact, one of the really cool things to do is to put it back through your juicer. So you can get more of the juice out, because you just don't want to throw that away because there's still going to be juice in here. So that's another thing you can do for those, particularly if you're on a budget, you want to extract out as much as you can. So do that a couple of times. Then, if you like hamburgers or veggie burgers, you can use this and add it into the patties. Like make a 1/3 of this when it's dried out, or 2/3 of the meat or whatever, and now you're adding in the fibre. The kids don't even know that it's going in there. If you're on a Reboot juice only and you're not, well, you can't have it, so the garden's probably a great way. But there's lots of recipes on my website and others. And in fact, when you buy this, in fact, the Breville guys have recipes for the pulp as well. So there's things you can do with it. A lot of people freeze it. I'm not big on the freezing it for too extended periods of time. At the end of the day, since I started juicing this, something's going on here. You know who's really happy about me juicing this? The nutrients. The bacteria that's in the atmosphere, because they're eating lunch. They're having a field day. They're loving this right now. So we're in a bit of a race to get this into our system. Now, I want to make sure that the last bit of information I'll leave you with is that juicing can be a bit of a pain because you've got to do it and you've got to do it. You don't have to. Do what I do. I juice one night. I juice up probably 5 or 6 of those big jugs of juice. I juice it up. I get mason jars. I seal it tight. I put it in the fridge. By putting it in the fridge and sealing it and filling it right to the top, I've minimized the ability for the bacteria to get to it. There's still bacteria in there. You can't ever get that out. It's still there. But you'll get about 72 hours use before the bacteria wins and tips it over and it rots. But we're supposed to eat food that rots. We're supposed to eat food that rots. Google right now, when you get a chance, your cheeseburger that's 12 years old and have a look at it. It looks like it just came out of the wrapping and it's 12 years old. Why is it 12 years old? Because the bacteria is smart. There's nothing there really to eat. So they're saying, leave that to the humans. We're going over to Health Interactive and we're going to drink Joe's juice. All right, any other questions before we wrap up? I think that's it. I want to say, last one. Pardon? In a year. Good question. It's a personal choice. I was doing it 4 times. I found it too much. I'm now down to 3. I think 3 times 10 or 15 days is a perfect time. I don't think what you want to do is trick your body into juicing, eating for too much, because you'll throw your system into a disarray. We have to think about this, that we are taking a time machine trip back on the savannah. And so when you break your nutritional famine, you don't break it with pizza. You don't break it with Chinese takeaway, because that wasn't around then. You break it with what you are juicing. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate it. It's been great.
Thank you, Joe.